snow on Sunday morning.
I've been playing baseball since I was, 6 years old up until college. I'm always on the piano or the guitar. This whole dancing and moving without that is definitely a new vibe for me, but it's definitely helping me get out of my shell and help me become the singer-songwriter that I am today.
Are you ready to get growing with Kathy Holloway Hill? Psychologist, author, talk show host.
And it might not be the right thing to do.
Exactly.
That should be an upgrade where you learn to communicate.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
As much as I've proved, I still have that urge to prove again.
If you want to talk about the love of Jesus, I'm all open for the conversation.
There is more that unites us.
Dr. Maya Angelou, how are you doing today?
My name is Kathy Holloway. I'm doing very well.
If you're overthinking, overreacting, overscrutinizing, or overanalyzing, then train your mind to gain renewed optimistic wisdom. Grow with Kathy Holloway Hill.
Good evening, everyone. I am Kathy Holloway Hill, and I'm so excited to spend this time with you today. Are you trying to grow in your career? What about your relationship? Maybe your health regimen? Or are you just trying to break a bad habit? Whatever you're trying to grow into, today we're going to get growing. And I have an incredible guest who is going to get growing with me, Mr. Cody Smith. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I really appreciate you joining me because we have a lot to talk about, young man, because you have an incredible career.
I'm hoping so, right? I mean, if it's in God's plan, that's what we're going for, but we're just taking it one step at a time, that's for sure.
I love what you just said, if it's in God's plan, because a lot of times we try to design our own lives, and it's really not the design that God intended for us. So when we can be obedient and listen and discover what that is and follow that path, the journey, that's what really makes us great. So I'm really glad to hear you say that. Now, you were on one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love. I Can See Your Voice.
Yep. Great show. Love it.
Yes, you were the baseball coach, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I was baseball coach, season 2 finale of I Can See Your Voice on Fox.
Episode 10. Yep. Exactly. But before we get to that, I want to talk about that. But before we get to that, Cody, just tell us a little bit about you and what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish with your career?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So I'm 29. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York. I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Currently right now, I'm a marketing director. Obviously trying to keep growing my musical presence and keep working on my music. And, in my goal for a musician, I just want to keep growing and be able to be at a point where I can, spread my music, all over the world and do that, full time.
That's awesome. Now, do you write also in addition to being a singer?
Yes. Yep. I'm a singer songwriter. So most of my music I'm always writing on my guitar or piano. So that's usually my vibe. I like it really cut back, like a acoustic performance almost for most of my songs.
Wow, that's awesome. What is your genre of choice, or do you just like have a lot of them and you're just kind of versatile like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's always, that's a question everyone asks. It's a tough one, right? So I feel like I resonate with a lot of different artists and a lot of different genres. Some people call it like blue-eyed soul. Some people call it, indie pop. But like we talked about, I love Stevie Wonder, John Legend, Gavin DeGraw, all those great artists, and kind of just that singer-songwriter vibe usually I resonate towards.
Well, you're a lot like me. I'm a music lover. I don't care what genre it is. I just love to hear good singing. Well, I'm a music lover, but I like good singing.
Right, of course.
And I used to kind of dabble around with singing, but I absolutely could not believe when you said, well, actually, you didn't tell me this. You're a wonderful mom. Shout out to Cody's mother. She is incredible. she taught you how to sing and you guys were just kind of kicking it around when you were young and you taught yourself?
Yeah, I mean, most of my stuff's really self-taught. I kind of one day I bought a guitar on a whim. I don't know why, honestly, because I never played guitar before. I just bought a guitar and started teaching myself. That's kind of where it started. I was right around 17, 18, and then I just kept teaching myself. And then I ended up going to school for music briefly, in college. So I did that for a while.
Now, wait, now you were 17 or 18 when you started teaching yourself, and you're only 29 now, and you sing like that?
I don't know. I guess I can show you a clip. Maybe we can't air it, but I can show you a clip when I first started. I did not sound very good. It could be like a behind the scenes for us, but no, yeah, I definitely have grown a lot for sure.
So how did you teach yourself? I mean, I'm just curious. I know a lot of people would like to be able to sing, but most of them do sound like those non-singers on the show that you were on. So how do you teach yourself to sing? Obviously you had the gift and you just brought it out.
I appreciate that. I really think, just with any other muscle group in your body, your voice and all the connecting parts is a muscle, right? They're muscles, right? So if you keep training your muscles over and over, just like your voice, you're going to be able to, eventually hit those notes and, broaden your range and be on key. So I definitely think that anyone can sing. I always say that. But it just depends on how much you put into it, right? Just seeing my own personal growth from when I first started till now, leads me to believe that anyone can really do it, right? If they really go for it.
Okay, so I know you were on I Can See Your Voice. Have you been on any other singing competition shows? Because it's a lot of them out there.
There's so many. Yeah. It's actually not my first time auditioning and being in different shows. I auditioned for American Idol, The Voice. The Voice actually brought me out for a private audition in Miami. But none of them really, went the distance, right? That, something didn't connect and, I wasn't chosen, but, this is the one that worked out. Right. So, but yeah, a lot of ones, the X Factor, American Idol, America's Got Talent, pretty much everyone, I would say.
And for those people out there who are listening to us, you want to be musicians, want to be singers, please don't think that you just call them up and you send them an audition tape, or you call them up and you go, if it's not COVID, and you call them up and you go stand in front of somebody in your own. It doesn't work that way.
Absolutely not.
It's a lot of layers to it, Cody, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was talking to somebody else about this too. A prime example, when I went for the X Factor, it was in Rhode Island. So I took a train there. And then you have to wait in line. It's like the first step is a cattle call audition, right? Everybody, literally just thousands and thousands of people. You wait in line. In this instance, it was raining outside. So I was soaking wet. We're outside for like 7.5 hours. And then you get inside and then, just one after another. You sing, verse and a chorus. If they like you, they'll send you to the next round. The next round would be either an assistant, producer, or maybe one of the executive producers. And then after that, they would bring you to the next round. So they're like, oh, we like you. We'll go to the next round. So there's actually usually between 3 and 4 steps or auditions before you get to that, TV audition.
Yes. So thank you for explaining that, because there are a lot of people out there who just think that, they just pop in and they're on because they can sing. Everyone who has a great singing voice is not going to make it on those shows. And, the other piece, Cody, and, I'm sure a lot of people who have been there, and you have been there, even the ones who win, a lot of times they still struggle with their careers.
Absolutely. I mean, you could see there's a lot of instances, right? So that's another nerve-wracking piece too. Like you could go the distance and go all the way on a show, and you don't even know if you have a gig unless you're going to go sing at a bar or something, which isn't my favorite vibe, right? To go sing out at bars and things, but it's definitely not an easy choice of a career if you want to go that way. That's for sure.
Well, it's a lot of people just singing on street corners who sound incredible. So that, I mean, that is let's just say it's heavily saturated. I'll just say that. So so to get an opportunity like you got for I Can See Your Voice, and let's just go ahead and talk about that now since I just brought it up again. Okay, so now what I want to ask you, to me, this seems like the hardest thing on that show, even harder than singing, is to be able to stand there stone-faced the entire time, not showing emotion, and the judges are criticizing you and talking about, oh, he can't sing, that's not his voice, and oh my goodness, and I know you want to just punch him.
It was tough. I mean, that, like you said, that was a tough part. You know, a behind the scenes part that you don't see is we're standing on those little, pads or whatever. We're standing there for like 45. I stood there the longest because mine was the last of the groups to go. So like the waitress and I were standing in a fixed position for, almost an hour. And that's really uncomfortable, because you got to look forward. They're like, they come there in your ear, like, hey, Cody, look forward, or, look forward, baseball coach. They keep, they keep going for it, right? They keep telling you what to say and what to do. But yeah, that was tough keeping a straight face, and they're like, oh, what kind of baseball swing is that or something? But I mean, there was really like, 2 feet of distance. You couldn't, if you swung a full swing, you'd probably hit something.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, I agree with you. It was a tough part to stay stone cold that whole time, especially with my emotions going too.
Yes. And like I said, having to listen to the celebrity judges criticize you, and then also having to feel the emotion of the contestant, when she's trying to make her decisions and she's very emotional. And then you happen to be fortunate enough to be the last one standing. So, I mean, everybody started crying when she was trying to make the decision to go for it or just take the money she had and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know that has to be so difficult for that young man not to be able to look sad or even cry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could kind of pause and see, like when I'm standing still, like I was tearing up before, right? When she was talking about her dad and everything, I was, tearing up, and I didn't want her to see it, right? Because I, probably would have gotten in trouble, or they would have had to pause something or whatever. But yeah, it was really tough. I definitely connected with her and felt her story and felt her. And that's why I just, I was putting all my energy into her picking me. I was like, I want you to pick me. I want you to win this. And it worked out. So
is that what they call it? So whoever is the last one standing, you're the winner because you get to sing with the celebrity?
It's called like the secret voice winner, right? You get more compensation, right? And then you get to sing the duet with the celebrity. So yeah, generally you want to make it to the end. It's beneficial for both parties, I would say, for sure, especially if you're a good singer.
Well, I have to say, young man, when it was your turn for the two, I think you were there with the ballet queen or somebody. I don't remember.
The pageant, yeah.
No, that was the end. The pageant queen, it was you and the pageant queen at the end.
Yeah.
But when you did the lip sync.
Oh, that was with the waitress.
Yes. When you did the lip syncing,
mm-hmm.
As soon as you opened your mouth, I knew it was you. I don't know why. I don't know why. I said, wow, listen to that voice coming out of him. Candy Burst said the same thing. That's him. Oh, that's him. That's him.
Yeah.
That's him. Now, of course, some of the celebrity judges, I wanted to punch him. Because they were saying, oh, he can't sing and blah, blah. I wanted to punch him because typically for me, when I watch those shows, I have my favorites.
Yeah.
And I think I have a good idea. Now, I don't do a lot of singing myself, but I have an ear. And I just knew, I was really praying that it would be you. I wasn't really sure about David Ruffin's son. I think he was on there.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I really, that just seemed too obvious to me. So I wasn't sure, but I was positive about you. So when you did your lip sync, do you remember what song that was?
It was Sunday Morning by Maroon 5.
Sunday morning, rain is falling. Still some cover says some skin, no. Clouds are shouting us in moments unforgettable. You twist to fit the mold that I'm in. Yeah. That may be all I need. Driving slow on Sunday morning, and I never wanna leave.
The soul that came dripping out of your body. Oh my goodness, my jaw dropped. I said, that's him. And I loved it when Candy said, okay, they both can sing, so just get her out of the way and save the baseball coach for the duet at the end. I loved it when she said that.
Yeah, I definitely felt like a big relief when she said that because, before when they were pairing everybody up, I was like, the only person I don't want to be paired up with is the waitress. Because I knew she could sing. I heard her, I could hear it. I knew she was able to sing. It's like, I don't want to be paired up with her. Like anybody else, I'll be fine. And sure enough, picked us at the end. So that was my only like nerve-wracking part. And I figured after that, I felt like, I have a pretty good chance of making it, based on people who are left and, what they're choosing. So there's just a lot of thought in your head, right? You can't talk or move. So you're just thinking, you have every thought and it's just all right there. So it was definitely a crazy experience for sure.
So one thing I've always wondered about that show,
mm-hmm.
Are those judges really guessing? Or do they really not know who can sing and who can't?
Yeah, they really don't know. I mean, it's all random. They make sure that, you have to wear these like noise canceling headphones everywhere you're going so you can't hear the other secret voices. They do a really good job of making sure it's true. Exactly what you're seeing on TV is exactly what you're getting in the backstage, right? You're not going to know. So yeah, they don't bring any of the celebrity judges on until right in the beginning of recording.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to talk about this moment because when this happened, I said, okay, God is shining on this young man. And it's meant for this young man to be the last one standing. God has a purpose. God has a plan.
Right.
When that contestant was getting at the end, I'm talking about the end, when it was just you and pageant queen. And that contestant was getting ready to interrogate the other one, the pageant queen.
Right, yeah.
And Adrian Holton spoke up and said,
wait, in my gut, I feel the baseball coach's voice was so distinct that if I heard him talk, I would absolutely know definitively if that voice from the lip sync challenge was his. We need that confirmation.
I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy too, right? She just said that out of the blue. But I guess I do get it because I do have a unique sound, right? My S sound for those songs. So, I mean, she was on point. She was, 100% on point with that.
Now, since you're saying that now, because you did say Stevie Wonder and Sam Smith, so did you try to use S names? Okay, all right.
No, another thing, that's the crazy part too. So there's breaks in between each one, right? You go backstage, they tell you what to do, or they're like, all right, you're about to do this. They told me that I would have time to practice my answers if she picked me for interrogation, but that didn't happen. It just went right into it. So I thought we were gonna go into break, and then the spotlight just goes on me, and I was like, oh man. So I just went for it. So that was just kind of just rolling with the punches, because I totally thought we were gonna have a break and be able to practice and whatnot. But maybe that worked out to my advantage almost.
I personally, I thought your answers were just great. I thought they were on point. But again, I am one of those type of people that if I like you, if you're my pick, if you're the singer that I believe is the one that's got, then, you know, it wouldn't have mattered if you had called out someone's name who I didn't even know, that wasn't a celebrity. Even if you had said, my pastor is my, it wouldn't have mattered.
Anything.
But I mean, it was a few of the celebrity judges who thought the answers were disjointed. Well, Sam Smith and Stevie Wonder and Maroon 5, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I didn't get why. I think Jim Jeffrey said something like that about, you know, I didn't really get it, but maybe they do have a, you know, adverse, you know, pick or thought compared to the other person, right? So
I mean,
maybe
Maroon 5 is kind of pop, and Stevie Wonder is pop and R&B and soul and everything.
Yeah.
And Sam Smith is just incredible. I don't know where he fits. He just sings whatever the heck he wants.
I feel like he's right up in there with, you know, Stevie Wonder, Maroon 5, but like a different, like a subgenre almost.
Yeah.
You know, he did ballad type songs. So I agree. Yeah, I think they're all similar.
I was really happy about it because I heard it too. I mean, when you spoke, it was that exact singing voice, and I said, Adrian. Now, Candy spoke up.
I would hate for you to leave empty-handed, but my soul is telling me he is a good singer.
Adrian and Candy, they were the ones that they got rid of the other one who could not sing.
Right, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. And then, you know, another thing that they don't show people, but like they're recording multiple shows at the same time. So it's not like, oh, your show is the season finale. They kind of wait and see, you know, not the best, but like the most emotional, best performances at the end, and then kind of pick where each show's going to go. So and that's another thing. Obviously you want to be the season finale because it's probably the most viewership. So that was just another really exciting thing too, because they set our original date, I think it was for February February. Early February, and then I was like, oh man, we're in the middle of the season. Then they changed it to a Tuesday. I was like, you know, it airs on Wednesdays usually, so this must be the finale or something. So that was pretty exciting too.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, because I like to look at statistics for different shows and stuff. Their streaming is massive. So even if it's not a season, you know, people right now are streaming all the episodes, so you're being seen everywhere. Especially like you said, being the last one standing. And so Candy Burris didn't even know when she sung the first part of How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. And that's the other thing. Do you even know, do they tell all the contestants what the celebrity song is so that you can at least be thinking about it?
Right. Yeah. So, you know, the process probably when I first got to LA to when I left was about 12 days. Right. So we got the celebrity song, I would say 3 days before taping. So on the 9th day, and they're like, all right, learn this song. And then they send you, they send you the sound and everything, and you practice it in your hotel room or whatever. So yeah, every secret voice gets that same info to practice it. And there's 3 song choices on there, and this was the only one I wanted it to be. So I was like, oh man, like, I don't know, I feel like it all kind of lined up, right? Because I didn't really want to sing my song, my elimination song. And I love How Sweet It Is. And I thought I could sing that one a lot better. So that's kind of, it just kind of worked out pretty good. But yeah, we find out a couple days before.
Yeah, and I know at the end when Candy Burris, well, not just Candy, but whichever celebrity is singing at the end, they do their part, and then I guess it's for drama purposes or dramatic purposes. They drag it out, and then what we see on the screen is the words good, bad, keep popping back and forth. And do they tell you to drag it out and wait a few seconds before you kick in?
Yeah, that's just kind of, we have the inner ears in so we can hear the music. And then obviously, it's just 8 bars from when, Candy stops. They're like, all right, jump in here. So we tried to find that perfect spot. It was after, I don't know, it doesn't show on the screen, but I look over like this, and then right after that, I go with that high note. But yeah, they want to build suspense, so there's usually an 8-bar difference.
Yeah, when you pulled that microphone up to your mouth and you just went at it.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
I wanna stop and thank you, baby.
I wanna stop and thank you, baby.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Yeah, it sounded way better than I thought it was going to sound, honestly. I was surprised myself, if I'm being honest with you.
I happen to love that song. And
Me too.
When you went at it and then you went into your falsetto, oh.
I never do that.
See,
I don't know.
I mean, you just teach yourself on the spot.
No, like the falsetto, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really like when you go like that super high. And I was like, and like, that's why I usually don't do it. But then I was like, I like it. You know, why not just go for it? I literally just went for it. Like whatever I was feeling, that was like a 100% feeling performance. Like my mind checked out. This is all feeling at that point.
Well, guess what? We all felt it with you. I knew that. When you pulled that microphone up to your mouth, I could tell it was coming from the depths of your soul. You weren't in your head. You weren't thinking. You were just gone. And I loved it.
I really appreciate that. And yeah, I wish I could just bottle that and just like, take a sip of how to do that every time I go to perform, because I feel like that's when I perform my absolute best. When I'm not thinking about everything, I'm not overthinking the notes. I'm literally just feeling everything. And I feel like as a musician, and other musicians have the same issue, right? It's just finding how to manage that anxiety and all those thoughts and all those self-doubting thoughts. So that's a tough part, but
absolutely.
Luckily it didn't happen during the show, so that was good.
Yes. So after the show is over, do they come around you? I mean, I know they congratulate the winner who won the 100,000, but how does it work for you after everything is said and done?
So right after that, the executive producer told me to sing my elimination song, because I guess they were going to send it to me so I could have that for extra footage. So I sang that right after, which was Killing Me Softly, which, like I said, I didn't want to do that song. When they chose it for me. They're like, all right, you're going to be Killing Me Softly. So I sang that, and then, the guy who helped me get on the show and like send in my video, Josh, he's one of the executive producers. He came out, he gave me a hug. He's like, you sounded so good. And I was just thanking him and everything. And then they kind of whisked me away to this little interview booth studio where this like group of guys are in there with cameras, and then they start interviewing you like for, B-roll stuff or just kind of behind the scenes, just talking about everything.
Excellent. So since that time, have things picked up for you? Are you starting to, I know you're writing your music and you're doing your thing, but have things picked up for you? Have you noticed, any additional work or activities?
Since the show aired, definitely, I've gained a good amount of followers, which are seeing my music, which is great. So in regard to work, people are asking me to sing the national anthem at some of the games out here in Charlotte. A couple people messaged me about doing some like duos or collaborations, but I'm just kind of taking it slow and kind of seeing exactly which way I want to go. I definitely, in my heart, I feel like I want to go onto another show. I feel like that's kind of right where I'm at. I really think like I Can See Your Voice was like a huge stepping stone to get me to where I needed to be, so I could leverage that to like The Voice or something like that.
Cody, I tell you, this has been such an incredible opportunity for me to talk to you, young man, because I really, really do know that you have a bright future. You're very young. I know you had mentioned that you wanted to maybe use this as a springboard or, you know, maybe a stepping stone to go to another singing competition. Well, this is just the beginning for you, young man.
I really appreciate those kind words, and I'm hoping, you know, like we said, if it's in God's plan, I think it's going to happen. So we're just taking it one step at a time, and you know, seeing how it goes. I really appreciate you on the show for sure.
Yes. One thing I definitely want to point out is I appreciate you not giving up, because all of those shows that you mentioned that you tried for, and you stood out in the rain and all the things that you went through, but you were obedient and you kept going and you didn't stop. And that's what this show is about. It's about growth, development, commitment. And that's exactly what you demonstrated, and you did that. And if you continue along that path, that journey, you're going to accomplish your goals and then some.
I appreciate that. And I definitely agree with you. I think consistency is key. You know, you're going to get 100 no's. You know, it's not really about that. Those are all growing. You know, those all help you grow and get to where you're at right now. It's just about those yeses and, you know, working towards those yeses. So I 100% agree with you.
Well, I appreciate you spending this time with me. We're going to let Cody sing us out. And we thank you for joining us. Let's get growing and let's keep growing, because that's how you're successful. Cody, go ahead and sing us out, dear.
All right. I'll sing you a little song here. Help me. It's like the walls are caving in. Sometimes I feel like giving up. No medicine is strong enough. Someone help me. I'm crawling in my skin. Sometimes I feel like giving up, but I just can't. It isn't in my blood. It isn't in my blood. Oh, I need somebody now. Someone to help me out. I need somebody now. I need somebody now.